Yeah. So good afternoon all. Am I audible, participants? Yes, okay. Thank you so much. So good afternoon. A very warm welcome to everyone present over here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the inaugural session of our FDP, online FDP on AI in medical imaging and diagnostic, current trends and challenges, organized by E&ICT Academy, MNIT Jaipur. I am Dr. Deepak Ranjan Nayak, the coordinator of this FDP, and I'm excited to see many passionate individuals who have gathered here to exchange their ideas, to collaborate with the top-notch speakers. So this program has been designed with the vision of bridging the gap between cutting-edge AI technology and clinical practice. AI, as many of us know, is transforming the healthcare landscape, especially in the field of medical imaging, by enabling faster, more accurate diagnosis, reducing human errors, and opening up new possibilities for patient care. So our objective through this FDP is not only to expose the faculty members and researchers to the field of medical imaging, as well as to encourage them to have an interdisciplinary collaboration with the researchers from academics, industry, and medical professionals. And I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished guest, Professor Binit Sahula, Chief Investigator of E&ICT Academy, Professor Love Bhargava, the Dean Research and Consultancy at MNIT Jaipur. Sir, your presence is a great honor and adds immense value to this program. This FDP has received an overwhelming response with over 200 participants joining us from various esteemed institutions across the country. We are privileged to host 25 eminent speakers and resource persons, including 3 medical professionals from AIIMS New Delhi, 5 industry experts, and 17 academicians from IITs and NITs. We are sure that the sessions will provide deep insights and practical perspectives that will greatly benefit our participants. I'd like to thank the participants who are being here. We hope this FDP will spark meaningful discussions, new collaborations, and exchanging ideas and impactful ideas. With this, I once again welcome you all to this FDP and look forward to a successful and insightful session ahead. Thank you very much. I now have the privilege of inviting Dr. S.J. Nanda, the coordinator of E&ICT Academy at MNIT Jaipur, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Dr. Deepak. And I welcome all the participants throughout the country to this very important workshop on AI in medical imaging and diagnosis, current trends and challenges. This is a topic for utmost importance and very relevant to the recent day research. We are observing that many AI tools have been developed in last decade, or we can say in last 5 years. Especially the scenario has changed after the deep learning, the convolutional neural network, and evolutionary competition, fuzzy logic, and many other such AI techniques. And several researchers all over our country have been applying this one in various real-life applications. And medical imaging is one of the prominent fields which can save the humanity to a great extent. After the COVID-19 onwards, the government has a lot of focus on the medical healthcare side, and this course will definitely prove to be a very important one and gives eyesight to the researchers who are beginning their career, and they will learn a lot of things from the pioneers in this particular field. Dr. Deepak and the group, they have chosen experts who are very, very prominent all over India and all over the globe for this particular FDP. And This is supported by the Electronics and ICT Academy at MNIT Jaipur. EICT Academy is a funding from Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India. And among the various EICT academies, 7 academies are there at IIT and NITs and Triple IT. And our EICT Academy at MNIT Jaipur is one of the best performing academies among the other EICT's academy. It is one of the leading academy of the country, and it is supporting various niche age courses on the recent trends of development in technologies. So this is one of such pioneer course, and all the participants will learn a lot of new techniques, new tools, and a lot of insight in this particular course. So so with this, I welcome all the participants and say a overall good learning experience over next 10 days. So thank you, Dr. Deepak.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Now I invite my co-coordinator, Dr. Vikas Kumar, to propose vote of thanks and express gratitude to all who have made this session a great success.
Thank you, sir. So, good afternoon, all. It is a great honor and privilege for me to extend the vote of thanks on behalf of the FTP team at the inaugural session of the Faculty Development Program on AI in Medical Imaging and Diagnostics, its current trends and challenges. First and foremost, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Professor N.P. Padi sir, Chairman ENICT Academy, Director MNIT Jaipur, for his invaluable guidance, unwavering support, and visionary leadership. His constant encouragement has played a pivotal role in enabling this FDP to be organized at such a scale and with such a academic depth. We are equally thankful to Professor Vinit Sahula sir, Chief Investigator, ENICT Academy, MNIT Jaipur, for his continuous support, encouragement, and guidance. His strategic vision has been instrumental in shaping initiatives like this FDP, which bridges the gap between academia and cutting-edge technology. Our heartfelt thanks to our co-chief investigators, Professor Lav Bhargava, Dean RNC, Dr. Emmanuel Pilli, Dr. Ravi Kumar Madilla, for their valuable involvement and support. Their contributions have laid a strong academic foundation for this program and ensured the inclusion of diverse, relevant perspectives in the sessions to follow. A special word of appreciation to Dr. Satya Sai Nanda sir, Coordinator ENICT MNIT Jaipur, for his outstanding efforts in designing and organizing this program. His dedication, planning, and coordination behind the scene have brought together experts and participants from across the country to engaging in this pivotal topic. We are thankful to our eminent speakers who have accepted our invitation and graciously agreed to share their invaluable insights, research experiences with us. We would also like to thank all the distinguished guests, faculties, and participants who have joined us today. Your presence encourages us and reinforces the relevance and importance of this program in today's rapidly changing, evolving technological landscape. Once again, thank you all for your presence. We look forward to an exciting and insightful journey ahead. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Vikas. So our first session is going to start at 4 p.m. So I think Professor Tapan Gandhi from IIT Delhi, he will join us soon. And there are a few things I think Yeah, let me just summarize. We are having 40 lectures in this particular FDP. So, and we have divided those lectures into 4 modules: Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, and Module 4. In Module 1, basically, the speakers will be focusing on the fundamental parts of medical imaging, diagnosis, and computer-aided diagnosis system. The second module, in the second, various types of medical imaging modalities also, like X-ray, CT scan, fundus imaging, histopathological imaging, and so many others. So in the second module, the speakers will be focusing on machine learning algorithms, how machine learning algorithms has been applied for solving medical image analysis task. Basically, for solving classification task, for solving segmentation task, and solving registration and several other problems. Both supervised and unsupervised learning based techniques you will able to find. So the third module basically focuses on deep learning based medical image analysis task. So where there are multiple advanced topics also we have included. So it's not only the traditional deep learning algorithms like convolutional neural network, its variants, the transfer learning, and how it is currently being used to solve various types of problems like image classification, medical image classification, segmentation, and several other tasks like object detection, lesion detection, and all. So we have also kept few advanced topics like in the field of deep learnings you probably have heard about, like vision transformers and several other like technologies like Mamba and all, which are very recent, and how those techniques can be applied, and what are the challenges which we usually face while applying those algorithms. How to apply convolutional neural network or deep learning algorithms in limited data scenario, and how to design the algorithms if you are having limited amount of label data, and what are generative models, what is the role of generative models in medical image analysis. That also there are few lectures we have designed, and there are few speakers who are going to speak about generative models and how what is the application of generative models in the field of medical image analysis. So at the same time, there are few learning paradigms which are very recently used to solve medical image analysis tasks, like self-supervised learning, semi-supervised learning. This is a very interesting topic which we can learn from the speaker. At the same time, there is a very important topic which is currently you can say going on in the field of computer vision or medical imaging. What is the meaning of foundation models, and what are foundation models? So how to design the foundation models in the field of uh, basically medical imaging. And there are few healthcare professionals who will also join us, and they will also speak about the role of AI. And there are few experts from GE Healthcare and Latent AI from US. So they will be also talking about how this kind of problems is currently being solved using, solved in industries. So it's not the topic which only academicians are only solving. The problem statements. So the industry people are also very much interested in solving this kind of problem. At the same time, so we have kept the fourth module. The fourth module is dedicated only towards the case studies. So where the healthcare professionals, the industry experts, the researchers from the academia, they will speak about different case studies. The kind of algorithm they have developed, and the applications basically in the field of, or applications for diagnosing certain diseases like retinal disease, brain disease, and you can say there are some diseases related to colorectal cancer. Kind of some analysis of colonoscopy image, analysis of endoscopy image, and there are a couple of others. How to synthesize the CT scan images, and there are a couple of such topics we have included into it. So I hope together it's a complete 40-hour extensive course on medical image analysis task, and this will definitely help all of us to learn a very important concept, and as well as the challenges and the future perspectives in the field of medical image analysis. So I wish you all a happy learning. So thank you so much.
So our expert Professor Gandhi will join very soon.
Asking him to join with the name. Some people are not giving the name, like office,
Okay. Okay, so participants, while joining actually the team, please write your full name there so that we can easily take your attendance. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to take the attendance. We could see there are few right unknown names. So please, yeah, official, yeah. Okay. So they will do it very soon.
Yeah.
बोल सकते हैं? Okay, okay. Hello, Tapan sir. Yes, Tapan sir, can you hear us?
अनम्यूट करिए भाई.
Hello.
Yes, Tapan sir, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, yes, I'm here. Okay.
Okay.
Tapan sir, we cannot able to see, sir.
Sir. Okay, okay, okay. Sir, you can now unmute your mic and you can also, open your camera, sir. We've given accessibility, sir, to you. What is that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Welcome you, sir.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can
sir.
you
Yes,
hear?
sir. Hear you, sir. We can hear you. You are audible right now. Yeah.
I'm surprised that why this is rejecting me again and again, throwing me out.
I think now it is. Now you are audible, sir. Now you are
Ah,
audible. It's fine.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Sir, your audio and video both are perfect, sir.
Yeah.
Nahi, this is perfect, but let's see how long it is consistent.
Hopefully, sir, there'll be no issue. Okay, sir.
We can
Thank
start.
you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And let me first introduce you. It's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Professor Tapan Kumar Gandhi, Professor, IIT Delhi, who is widely known for his pioneering work in AI in healthcare. So, Professor Tapan Kumar Gandhi is working as a professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering, Cadence Chair Professor of AI and Automation, Associate Faculty in School of AI, IIT Delhi, Adjunct Faculty in the School of AI and Data Science at IIT Jodhpur, IIT Dhanbad. He has done his PhD jointly with MIT USA and IIT Delhi. He has spent more than 3 years as a scientist at MIT USA before joining as a faculty member at IIT Delhi. Dr. Gandhi was awarded the first Inspire faculty in India in the engineering and technology category of the DST Government of India. During this 5 years tenure, he is awarded as the Excellent Inspire faculty by DST Government of India. His research expertise spans from computational neuroscience, brain imaging, machine learning, cognitive computing, healthcare technology to artificial intelligence. He has published in top ranking journals like Nature, Science, PNAS, Current Biology, Plus Biology, and so many IEEE transactions. He has more than 250 publications in international journals and conferences of high repute. He has received many awards in India, including one from ex-president of India, Dr. Kalam. His research work is not only published in top-notch journals, but also appeared in many popular presses like Times Magazine, the Boston Globe, the New York Times, MIT News, Harvard News, Wall Street Journal, and also the Science Magazine. Dr. Gandhi's work was selected as the cover page in Science Magazine in 2015. He has delivered many invited talks in national and international universities like MGH, Harvard University, Yale University, MIT, University of Groningen, Sorbonne University, and many others. He has guided 20 PhD students and more than 40 master theses, and currently supervising 13 PhD students. Dr. Gandhi's lab is involved in various government-funded international projects and industry consultancy. He is serving as an expert member in various research and strategy committee in Government of India. He has 6 patents and 3 technologies transferred to Ministry of Social Justice, Government of India. He has received Platinum Jubilee Young Scientist Award 2015 by National Academy of Science in India. Chair Faculty Fellow and Abdul Kalam Technology Innovation National Fellowship. He is elected Fellow of National Academy of Engineering, elected Fellow of National Academy Science India, and elected Fellow of International Artificial Intelligence Industry Alliance. So with this, sir, I now request you to kindly deliver your session, and we are eagerly waiting for your insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Deepak, for this brief introduction. The title of my talk is AI in Medical Imaging and Diagnostic, Current Trends and Challenges. So, good evening, everyone. This is the theme of your program, and I thought that I should start from here. So, in this lecture, I'll take you through all the challenges and what are the opportunity this healthcare industry pose for us or throwing us so that we can take forward and we can solve many healthcare problem. In the same time, we can develop many technology for the service of this nation as well as service of this society. First question comes to our mind that I know that all of you are those who are attending my lecture, all of you are maybe from the science background or from the engineering background. So the question first comes that why we are doing science and engineering. So if I'll ask this question to you, if I'll get 1,000 answer from all of you, and out of all this answer, I can create only 2 beans. What are those beans? The first one is that we do science and engineering to improve the quality of the life. So whatever answer is coming to your mind, you ask this question to yourself. Whatever the answer you will get, of course, this will fall in this category or the other category. The other category I'll tell. So quality of the life means, let's say, if you're talking about the smart health, humanoid robot, smart car, smartphone, everything, whatever you see around here, or maybe it's coming to your mind, or maybe if somebody will tell that I'm doing science and engineering to get a better job. So when you get a better job, then also indirectly you are getting money, and then using this money, you can improve the quality of the life. So that means we do science and engineering to improve the quality of the life. And second thing is to understand the mystery of this universe. So because of this two reasons, we do science, engineering, and technology. So of course, I mean, there are many mysteries in this universe, but even the biggest mystery is you just look at yourself, a biological body. If you look at yourself, you'll see that we started our journey from a single cell. The single cell divided becomes 2, then 4, then 8, then 16. This is how it grows. And finally, after a certain amount of time, some of the cells will decide that they will make your brain. Some of the cell will decide they will make your eyes. Some of the cell will decide they will make your finger. And again, there is some coding over there. That means the finger will grow up to this much and then it will stop. And if it will not stop, then it will lead to a disability, right? So the big question here is, what is the mystery? Who is doing this kind of coding, or how we get this program, from where this program came to our body or to our gene, which is controlling everything, the how we look or what we do, right? So this is called the one of the mystery. So likewise, there are n number of mysteries are there, and we do science and engineering to understand this mystery. So coming to this domain of, because our talk is medicine and AI, or healthcare technology and AI. So that's why I pose this question, that which is more important, engineering versus medicine? Of course, I mean, both of them are equally important. They are just like the two sides of a coin. But if we'll compare, if I'll force you, or if I'll give you forced choice, you have to tell me which is more important, then of course the answer will come that the health is more important, because the health comes first. So let's see what are the biggest problem in the health. Let's say if I'll ask this question to all of you, if I'll ask, what is the biggest problem in health? And of course the answer, I'll get many answers from all of you. I don't know whether the moderator will allow you to answer my question or not, but let me answer your questions. I mean, even I'll ask the question and I'll give the answer, right? So if I'll ask you, what are the big problems in the health? Of course, to your mind, all of a sudden it will come maybe the cancer, the diabetics, the hypertensions, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, n number of problems, right, which is around us. And of course, all these are very big problems. But when I'll ask you, or if I'll ask you, can you please categorize all this problem into different kind of strata or different kind of group based on their severity or based on their that whether we can solve this problem or not, complexity. So then, of course, you can do that, right? So out of all this problem, of course, the cancer is a very big problem. The diabetic is a very big problem. The hypertension is a very big problem. These are all big problems. Even the COVID-like problem, like virus or vector related or the microorganism related problems are very big. But the biggest is the problem where there is no solution. Cancer has solution. Of course, I mean, when the cancer in the advanced stage, then the chances are very low. Diabetic also has some kind of solution. Hypertension also has some kind of solution. But the problem which are linked to the neuron, any problem related to the neurons or the nervous system, these are all devastating in nature. There is no cure for all this kind of problem. And these are called neurodevelopmental problem. Like here, you know, the mental health. Mental health is a very big problem nowadays everywhere. All over the world, mental health is a very big problem. Alzheimer's, you must have heard. Alzheimer's is a big problem. Until now, as a scientist, we don't understand why this is happening. Though there are many theories, but none of them are solid theory that this problem is due to this, or because if we know the cause, most probably we can come up with the right kind of solution. You know, autism. 1 in every 70 Indians are suffering with this kind of problem. So this is a very big problem. Third, let's say epilepsy. You must have heard about the epilepsy. fits, right? The epilepsy, this is also a very big problem. This is also a neurodevelopmental problem. And the problem is really very big because you know that epilepsy is just like the earthquake. I mean, in the layman language, I can tell this is the earthquake of the brain. So when, let's say, I'm driving my car and all of a sudden I'll get the attack by the seizure, you know, fits, seizure, this is called the epilepsy. And I'll lose my consciousness and maybe I'll meet with an accident and I might lose my life. So likewise, this is one of the biggest problem called the sleep disorder. Even the mental health is also connected with this kind of problem. So if you are getting good sleep, that means you need to feel that you are the king or the queen in this universe. So sleep is a very big thing. So please don't destroy your good sleep. So sleep is connected with hypertension, sleep is connected with even diabetics, sleep is connected with many different kind of problems. So sleep is a very big problem. Uh, Here I'm just showing you one picture, the epilepsy. So maybe I'll discuss this thing later. So here, you know that this is another, again, very interesting area called the neural prosthesis. You know, many people lose their hand or the leg, they become the amputee for many reasons. Maybe the road accident, maybe the gunfight, or maybe the fall. All this problem account for all this kind of disability. Here, the person who is sitting on the wheelchair, he is a disabled person and he is not able to move his hand. So now, from the brain signal, he's checking the prosthetic hand. You can see this, the electronics hand, and he's checking with ex-president of US, Barack Obama. So this is called the neural prosthesis. Here I'm showing you another example. You know, you must have seen in many news outlet that those who are born blind, some scientists have developed the prosthetic eye. So you can see here, the person who is standing behind with a red color t-shirt, they developed some kind of, I can say it's the bionic eye or the computer vision system, which can allow the blind person to see. And the person who is wearing this glass, you can see, he is feeling very happy. He is telling that first time in my life, I can see my wife. But here, the truth is something different. What is the truth? The truth is the person only can see the contour of his wife or some kind of phosphines, the dark and white patches of his wife. So the way you or me, I mean, just let's say we are normal, we can see naturally. So the way we can see any kind of things, the person who is wearing this visual prosthesis or visual aid is not able to see in that way. So then the big question comes that why the person using this device is still not able to see his wife the way we can see. Because there are many important things are there. Let me tell you here. So what, I hope you can see my slide. This is, I'm showing you a brain. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So what you can see here, that let's say this is the eye and the rays of light. When we see some object, the rays of light comes to our eye, okay? And from the eye, actually the rays of light enters through our eye, and then this photon, the light photons, that converted to the neural energy, and then it travels in this path and it comes to the LGN. You can see my cursor. And from this LGN, it goes to the visual cortex, the back part of the brain, through this fiber-like structure, okay? And finally, coming to this V1, it gets processed V1, then some process in the higher visual cortex, and finally, it will tell us what is in front of us. So that means when we see some object, this is not the job of only eye. This is the job of eye, brain, as well as the pathway. All of them work together, and finally they tell us whether this is a human being, this is any object, or this is apple, this is orange. They do all this remarkable job. So here, the biggest challenge is, this is what is the challenges I'm talking about. So the biggest challenge is, though we understand how we get this information, but we don't understand how the light energy, when it converts to the neural energy, and finally when it travels from this eyeball to the back part of this the brain, how this information get encoded. No scientist in the world, they understand. So this is one of the big challenge. So if we can understand how the information being getting processed over here and how they are encoded to different things, then only we can come up with the right kind of gadget. That means the visual prosthesis. We can develop the right kind of visual prosthesis, which will allow the person to see clearly the way we see. I hope you understood. So as I told you that this understanding that how this image or how the object information get processed in our brain or in the eye, we don't have the clear understanding. Okay. So likewise, there are many problems in the health we don't understand. Like as I mentioned to you, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, autism, these are all big problems. But nobody knows, nobody in this world, no scientist in the world that knows that what's the causality, why this is happening. So if we can understand that why this is happening, most probably we can come up with some kind of solution. Okay, but first let me highlight some of the interesting kind of things. Then we'll discuss about many other aspect of AI and health, or the big problem of the health. So coming to this from the, because as I told you that engineering and medical science or the health are the two sides of the coin, right? So I know that when you, I mean, you must have seen this title of this workshop or the title of this online program, which Dr. Deepak is organizing, that AI and healthcare, or maybe understanding of brain medical imaging and diagnostics, something he has proposed, right? But always, and of course, I mean, you must have also attended many talks, but and always you have heard, and of course, in the few days also, you will hear the same thing again and again. What? Now we are using AI to solve some of the problems of the health, right? But always, my advice to all of you is always try to look at this problem in the bidirectional nature. That means working on the healthcare or to trying to solve the healthcare, you can understand very important aspect of the health, which will help you to advance the domain of AI. And the same time, using AI, you can accelerate the process of diagnostic, prognostic, or maybe many other kind of things, which I'll discuss later, right? So always try to see healthcare and AI in the bidirectional nature. Healthcare will help you to understand the beautiful concept of the intelligence, which will help you to develop the right kind of model. Second thing, the AI will help you to understand the healthcare problem, right? So coming to the engineering, again, in engineering, if I'll ask you which are the most advanced kind of domains, of course, the answer will come AI, computer vision, robotics, IoT, cognitive computing, all these big things will come. And if you look at this problem very closely, you will find one answer. Or if I'll ask you what are the common things among all this sophisticated engineering, what we are doing today, you will get one answer called the intelligence, right? Or automation. Automation is one kind of intelligence. So those kind of things, if you compare, let's say, like here, just giving you an example, let's autonomous vehicle. You know, this is a very hottest topic in engineering, that how we can make our car intelligent so that the car can navigate according to our wish, or the way will tell, it will take us to our destination. The face recognition system, you know that the computer vision system, which is working very well to recognize us or to identify somebody, and it's doing very remarkable job. But at the same time, this is a multi-billion dollar problem, that how we can come up with the advanced algorithm which can identify the people accurately, right? So likewise, I'm just giving another example of the intelligence. It's called the cross-model mapping. And this is one of the most intelligent ability what we have. That means the robot is holding a mobile phone, and the robot, when it's holding the mobile phone, it's understanding its features, and also it can translate to the visual space. So here I'm just showing you two pictures. One is a 2 years old baby called Cherry, and another is the most sophisticated machine or the robot in this world called the Sophia. And you know, the Sophia is very intelligent. Even a couple of years back, Sophia told that I want to be the mother. I want to be mother. So you can understand the intelligence level, right? But if you compare, or if I'll ask you that out of these two uh, object, I can say, let's say Cherry, the living being 2 years old, Sophia, the most sophisticated robot. If I'll ask you who is more intelligent, then the answer will come that Cherry is more intelligent than Sophia, right? So you can see here, I'm just showing you one video. Here, what I'm showing you, the 2-year-old baby is climbing the stair, right? And in the bottom picture, you can see the Eskimo robot, which is being trained with millions of exemplars to climb the stairs. You can see here the difference between the 2-year-old baby and this most advanced robot. This 2-year-old baby, when he started climbing the stairs, maybe the baby fall down maybe 10 times, and 11th time, the baby can easily climb the stairs. But here, the robot being trained with 1,000 millions of exemplars, maybe. See, we see the threat of the robot. So here the big question is, how come the this 2-year-old baby by 10 mistake can climb the stairs, and whereas with millions of exemplars, still the robot is committing mistake, right? So that means what we know, that here the natural intelligence is the more important than the artificial intelligence. So now coming to this AI, you know that understanding all this object and all this thing, we develop many different kind of AI algorithm. But at the same time, let me give some example. Let's say when you're talking about AI, because we understood the health, going towards the AI. So AI means we are mimicking some of the intelligence from somewhere in the machine, and this is what we are calling it AI. So here just I'll tell you some very beautiful concept of AI and the natural intelligence. So people ask me that which one you believe. So I always tell I believe the natural intelligence first, and then the artificial intelligence, because all this AI or the artificial intelligence, it comes from the nature. That's why you know that always natural is always good than the artificial, right? So from where we get all this intelligence from the nature, and in the nature we have many different things, from the bacteria, virus to the human being. All of them are having some kind of intelligence, and we try to understand those intelligence and we mimic in our message. This is called artificial intelligence. I'm just giving some examples here. So what I'm showing you here in the slide, this is this is also very interesting studies in the history of AI. So this is a ant. It's found in Sahara Desert. It's called the Saha ant. Ant found in the desert, Sahara Desert, right? So the ant in the Sahara Desert, they travels miles of away from the nest to find out their food. And again, by evening or by next day, they come back to their nest. So this is a very interesting phenomenon. The, the scientists found how come the ant can travel this much of long distance. And then they conducted some studies. They started from here. And they are traveling. Let's say this is where they get some food. And when the nest travels miles of away, what they do, they rotate, they stand, and then they take some snapshot of the images what they see around them. That means though in the desert there is no many landmarks are there, but still the ant captures some of the snapshots and then they walk, right? And what you see here in this picture I'm showing you, actually the black one in the, let's say this is the place from where they get the food. And let's say they're traveling from the cursor, you can see here, from here to this path. So they will travel few days, and the lower end graph, what you see here, the x-axis says the trip number, okay? And the y-axis says this is the number of turns, okay? And what you see here, that initially when the ant starts traveling from here, from the original, the nest to the food place, and initially they take many turns. You can see here, there are many turns, okay? The number of turns are 20, and then the first day, more turns, then it will come down, and then slowly, until 10 days, they visited this place to get some food, and after that, they didn't come again, okay? And then finally it's a big break. After 20 days break, they again starts. When they will start again they have to take more turns, because maybe they might have forgotten all those maps, and then again they store. So from the study, just to sum up the study, actually there are many studies, I'm not taking much time here. So from the study, they conducted in they mimic this kind of circumstances in many different scenarios, and they found some of the mechanism that how ant travels miles of away from the nest to get the food. And based on that, they understood, and they created one robot called the Saha bot. And then, the scientists from the Munich Max Planck Institute, they created this robot which mimics the intelligence of the ant. So likewise, in many scenarios, we mimic the intelligence of many things. Just like here, you must have seen in the sky, when the bird flies in the sky, they form different interesting pattern, right? And also they maintain the distance, maintain the different shape. And when as a scientist we understood this concept, we create the swarm intelligence, right? You can see here, then this using the swarm intelligence, we can now many drones are flying, right? So this is how we mimic the intelligence from the nature. So as I told you that we get the intelligence from the bacteria to the human being, and these are the things I mentioned to you about the nature. But of course, as you know, that we are the most sophisticated creature in this creation, of course, and we are intelligent because of this brain. And the size of the brain is the size of the two fists joining together. And understanding the brain and how the brain works and does all this remarkable job, it helps us to create the intelligent model. And that's how we are in the domain of all these things. You must have heard this artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, data science. Of course, they are all different kind of entity. If I'll ask you, of course, you will say yes. But actually, if you will ask me, I don't see any difference among all these kind of things. They are just inspired from different kind of things. Machine learning model, you know, all this machine learning model, they are all statistical model. They are inspired from many natural intelligence and being done statistically. Then comes the deep learning, when scientists understood the concept of the brain, that how the brain work, how the neuron work, and then initially they came up with artificial neural network, ANN, perceptron model. Maybe I'll give some example. And finally, today we are in the age of deep learning, because the scientists realize that this is how the different layers of the neuron layer in the brain work, and they create the deep learning. And today we all are talking about um, deep learning, because actually this is the advancement from the brain science. Again, um, this people understood, just trying to understand the different mechanism of the brain to answer many of these fundamental questions of the science. And the same time they understood how the brain work, and if we can mimic in the machine, maybe the machine will behave just like an AI agent. And that's why the deep learning is in a very big things nowadays, right? So that's why this deep learning is part of all this machine learning model, right? Um, and finally, data science. Data science is whatever the data we get, maybe the signal, maybe the discrete data, whatever the data, from this data, we create the pattern out of it. And this pattern help us to create this AI model. So we use AI to make sense of this data. Again, the same time, when we get huge amount of data, from this data, we create the model out of it. So in that sense, if you look at all this machine learning, deep learning, and data science, they are completely overlap in nature, right? And all of this application are coming under the domain of artificial intelligence. And again, artificial intelligence, if you also look at this AI data science, they are also connected well, because we can create this AI model taking the inference from the data. At the same time, data can help us to build the right kind of AI model. So I hope that you understood this kind of concept. So coming to this intelligence, you know that today what we see, the deep neural network, this is inspired from the human brain. So here I'm just showing you one biological neural network and one the mathematical model. So you know that when the stimulus come to different parts of this dendrites, these are the dendrites and this is axon and then dendrites. The stimulus comes to this dendrite, and all of the stimulus, when it comes, then it gets summed up in the cell body, and finally it passes through this axon. And here in this axon terminal, there are some or chemicals are present, which is called the neurotransmitter or neuroinhibitor. That will decide whether they will pass this information to the next neuron or they will stop it. And what the scientists understood, based on this, they created the first perceptron model. What you can see here, all this information, this x1, x2, x3 to xn, these are all inputs, and these are with some weight, because when the stimulus comes to the neuron, we don't know which stimulus carries how much weight. So that's why these are W1, W2, Wn. And then finally, these are all summed up, just like I mentioned to you. In the natural neuron, all the stimulus comes and then it integrates over this cell body, here in the cell body. So here also, all this X1, this input will come and it would be multiply this width x1 w1 plus x2 w2, x3 w3, and finally this would be summed up that's here, and then finally it will pass through the activation function, right? You know that ReLU you must have heard, step function. So these are all activation function, and finally we get the output. And this is nothing but the mimicking of the single neuron. And this is what we see. You can see here, this is the equation we get, W1x1, summation of W1x1 plus B. So B is a parameter which allow us to control that what would be the output. This is called a knob or bias, you must have heard. That means the the neuron, the way the neuron work, we understood the mechanism, but we don't know exactly how it works. So in order to match the output, we have this knob B, and which help us to adjust the output. That means that's why it's called the artificial one. We artificially try to adjust, right? And finally, we get this output. This is the single neuron or the perceptron model. So you can see here, this is the dynamics, how it works. So all this input and with the weight that get multiplied, then it gets summed up over here. Then it passes through an activation function, which is mimicking the similarity with this, the neurotransmitter, neuroinhibitor, and finally gives us the output. This is how it would work. So if you look at these two kind of things, the biological neural network, which is in the left side, and the engineering network, they are really very, very different. They are not even what we understood little bit about the biological neuron. We have created the artificial neural network. But again, today in here also I'm telling you that the DNN, what you see right kind of model, which behaves just like the natural neural network work, right? And how we can take the lead in this domain. You can take the lead in this domain if you work to solve some of the problems in the domain of neuroscience or the brain, just like I mentioned to you, neurodevelopmental problem. And that will not only help you to solve the problems in the healthcare, but also in the same time, it will help you to advance the domain of AI. So here I'm just talking about, of course, this is challenging, but also in the same time, it is creating a huge opportunity to all of us that how we can advance the domain of AI. Okay. So coming to this different dimension of the biomedical signal, what we do with this biomedical, that means, as you know, that the main goal of being a healthcare scientist or the healthcare technologist, your job is to help the humanity or help somebody to get cure from some disease or to diagnose the disease better or to help in the prognosis. That's why I've divided this total healthcare domain into all these five important pillars, right? Preventive. First comes the preventive. Preventive means if you can diagnose or if you can understand some problems before, you can create a preventive kind of model. So this is a very big thing nowadays. So now or in the future, the healthcare technology would be more preventive in nature. That means if I'll record all the signal or all the physical parameters or all any kind of blood parameters since your birth, every year I'll measure, and based on that I'll create a model. And if there is any kind of disturbance or if there is kind of healthcare issues, then the problem can be detected easily, and then you can take the prevention. Prevention is better than care, right? So prevention, you can use the AI to create this kind of model, that how I can develop the model in the individual level. That means that the healthcare problem is very particular or it varies from person to person. That means we need individualistic kind of model. Second comes diagnostic. Let's say if somebody is suffering with some kind of problem, the big question is how better we can diagnose, because many times what happens, without proper diagnosis, the doctors start giving the medicine, and which maybe sometimes it cure, maybe many times it gives the negative kind of response, right? So that's why it's better, or it's always good to have the better diagnosis. So the question is, using some of the sophisticated technology like AI, can we diagnose in a better way? So maybe you must be thinking, or maybe people ask you, why AI? Why not the others? Or why? What happens with the human? So the big problem here is, let me highlight this very important things. So if I'll ask you, all of a sudden, why all people are talking about AI and AI? Because human brain get easily tired. So let's say, if you are giving me thousands of brain images or thousands of body's images to see and diagnose, then as a human being, what I'll do, if I'll do the same thing for 3-4 hours, I'll easily get tired, or my brain will lose the interesting kind of things, right? So when you will get tired or you are getting bored, then this is you are about to make big mistake, right? And here, if we talk about the machine, they don't get tired. That's why machine can do better job than human here. First thing, please remember. Second, because we work as a human being, you are alive because there is electricity in your body. If when the electricity will stop, you are no more, right? Likewise, in the machine also, the machine work because of the electricity. If there is no electricity, your computer will not work. And if you compare the speed of processing, the human brain is slower compared to the machine because human brain is इसलिए slower है because here in our brain the ion carries the charge, but in the machine or electronics device the electrons carry the charge. That means electrons are faster than the ion. That's why electrons devices are faster, right? Because of these two reasons, we we are deploying all these kind of things in the machine. The machine can do the work in a very good way. They will not get tired and they will give us the right kind of diagnosis or whatever. And finally, the human has to take the decision. I hope you understood why we need AI in the healthcare. Third, assistive or rehabilitation. Assistive rehabilitation means there are many problems, there is no solution. Let me give one example. Let's say autism. There is no medicine for the autism. But being an engineer or scientist, your job is to solve this problem. Maybe there is no medicine, but can we come up with some kind of rehabilitation gadget or assistive technology by which we can help the people or we can help in their lives or we can make their life more beautiful? This is called assistive. Then fourth is curative. Let's say if somebody is suffering with some kind of problem, can we cure it? Can we cure it by some kind of technology, right? This is called the curative. So today, you know that all of us, when we are suffering with some kind of problem, we take some medicine to cure ourselves. But the futuristic medicine would be completely electromagnetic radiation. Just using the field, electromagnetic field, we can cure many diseases. So the future would be electromagnetic medicine. You know that many of our diseases are due to many of the microorganisms. Let's say if I can measure the frequency of all this microorganism, and let's say I know that for the COVID virus, the frequency is let's say 10.5, and I'll enter to a machine, I'll switch a key that please create 10.5 hertz, and then it will oscillate, and then of course, I mean when the two system will match, then of course the system will break down, right? And in that way, it will be cured. So no need to, you need not to take any kind of medicine, and this is the future. In future, we are not going to take any kind of medicine. Most probably, the electromagnetic waves will play a very big in curing many of the problems. And then finally, prognosis. Prognosis means that let's say somebody is suffering with some kind of problem. Let's say somebody came to Delhi and he's having some diabetic ulcer, right? Diabetic ulcer. If have you seen? Maybe many of you must have seen that if there is diabetic ulcer, it's very difficult to cure. And the specialists, those who do the surgery, they are very limited in our country. Even in Delhi, also you will hardly find 3-4 podiatrists, right? So let's say somebody comes from, let's say, will come from, let's say, Leh Ladakh, right, to Delhi for the treatment. And after the treatment, they cannot stay here in Delhi. They have to back to Leh Ladakh. So how come they can update that what is the status of their wound? So let's say if we have an AI-based computer vision kind of algorithm, and let's say if I'm in Ladakh, I'll take the snapshot of this wound, and automatically my AI-powered image analysis software can diagnose or sorry, can analyze that what in which state or whether this is curing or not. It can tell me in the same time, it will send this kind of result to the expert doctor who is sitting in Delhi. And then he can tell that whether everything is going fine or we need to visit the doctor as quick as possible. So this prognosis help us because actually in many cases, let's say if I'll talk about the traumatic brain injury. So traumatic brain injury is a very, very interesting problem because all of the people who suffer with a traumatic TBI kind of problem, they vary from person to person. That's why the prognosis also varies from person to person. Can we deploy AI or can we deploy the intelligent technique which will help us or which will help the human or the doctor to tell how long this will take or what would be the course of action during this kind of cure, right? So these are all the 5 verticals of the biomedical domain or the healthcare domain. And we can apply this domain of the AI, the knowledge of AI in everything to speed up the process or to speed up the diagnosis, prognosis, or the assistive kind of things so that we can make somebody's life better. So, okay, so signal, when you talk about the biomedical signal, so you know the image is also signal also is image. You can do the both the things. So that's why I've written signal, right? So when you talk about the signal, you know the signal which bears the information. But at the same time, many times what happens, maybe the signal which is signal for me, maybe the noise for you. So it's up to you how you are handling this kind of signal, right? Um, so here I'm just showing you different dimensions of the biomedical signal, right? You can see here from food to brain, you can get n number of signals, and or you can take n number of different kind of images. And from this, what we do in the traditional way, we try to understand what is happening in our body, because finally our end goal is to make ourselves cure or in a good health, right? So of course these signals are very sophisticated in nature. So you need the sophisticated signal processing technique depending on your what exactly you are looking at, right? So if you look at this two kind of nervous system, you know that in our body all this problem what we see, this is when there is a imbalance between this parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system activities. So you know one kind of system, it will arouse, and another system will suppress. So in that way, they make a balance among all this organ, and in that way, they keep us in a good health. So if there is any kind of disturbance among them, then we face different kind of problems, right? So always all the problems which we suffer, this is a mind-body problem. So always when you look at this problem, please try to look at the problem through the mind and body. So first of all, you need to understand this mind-body problem. And one thing I'd like to tell you, if you are really interested in AI in healthcare, you have to be very good in the human physiology. You need to understand how different organs of the body work. At the same time, you need to have a very good background, both in electronics, computer science, AI, statistics, everything you need to know. So working at the interface of AI in healthcare is the most challenging job in this world, because both of the, because you know that the biology is very complicated system, as well as engineering, though it's simple, but still when it comes in contact with the human body, that becomes complicated. So that's why it's very important to understand this two domain very clearly or very fundamentally, so that you can take a lead in the domain of AI and healthcare, right? So looking at the signal, just let me highlight some of the very beautiful things of the signal. So if you look at the signal, because we get many signals from the body, or we get many images, and I told you that you can convert the images to the signal, and also you can convert the signal to the image. It's up to you. We can do it easily. But if you look at the signal, we have two different kind of signal called the determined and stochastics. Again, determined are classified into periodic, quasi-periodic, transient, whereas stochastics are divided into stationary and non-stationary. So if you look at all this signal and example, you can see from left to right, we have the complexity of the signal is increasing, right? The initial was the sine wave, but you can see the EEG signal, which is just stochastic in nature or non-stationary. So as I told you, many people commit mistake. Let's say if somebody is working on the EEG, you can see, because in order to work on the EEG, because as I told you, EEG is coming under the non-stationary category. So what we need to do? First of all, we need to convert this non-stationary signal to the stationary format, and then most probably we can apply different kind of methods. But many scientists in the world, even in India, many big professors, they don't look at this non-stationary property of the signal, and they apply different techniques. And when they do it, systematically they do commit a very big error over here. So please remember, first of all, you need to understand the nature of the signal, and after that, you can apply different techniques, right? So let me give you some very basic example. Let's say these are very simple sinusoidal signal. The first one is I'm showing you here 3 Hz signal, second is 10 Hz, the third is 50 Hz. So when the signals are very periodic in nature and very low frequency, you can count it and you can tell what this signal is. But interestingly, when I'm presenting this 3 signal to you, you can understand. But if I'll add this 3 signal, it's very difficult for you to tell which frequency present, right? So let's say I'm just showing you the signal. See, those 3 different frequency signal I added over here, and I'm getting this signal. And this signal is called this is a stationary signal. Stationary signal means whose frequency or whose statistical properties does not change with respect to time. That means all the signals, all the sinusoidal wave present for all the time, right? And here, this is the equation, xt equal to x. I mean, this is either you can take the sinusoidal or cosine wave, and you can see here the t is same for everyone. T, the initial xt, t, and here you can see all this cosine wave are added, and the time is t, right? That's why all the frequency component, the 10 hertz, 50 hertz, 25 hertz, 100 hertz, all are present for all the time, and that's why this is called the stationary signal. The same waveform I'm presenting in the different way. You can see here. Okay. And you know that we do what we do? We do the FFT, fast Fourier transform, right? And then we get this kind of things, and we can see that what are the components, frequency component present. Then you can see, you can tell that the frequency components are 10 hertz, 25 hertz, this is 50 hertz, and 100 hertz, right? I'm showing you this signal. Here also, both the 10 hertz, 25, 50, 100 are present. But this is called the non-stationary signal. Non-stationary means the statistical property changes with respect to time. You can see here, initially, the frequency component are slower, and slowly it is becoming, or it is increasing, right? So you can see here again, the initially 100 hertz, then 50 hertz, then 25, then 10. So this is called the non-stationary or the chirp signal. So the beauty is here, if we'll do the FFT, you can see here, the FFT looks different. Let me put in the same page. So you can see here, both the signal contains 10 hertz, 25 hertz, 50 hertz, 100 hertz. You can see here I'm adding only the sinusoidal wave. These are all sinusoidal wave. And I wanted to tell you how beautiful the signal processing is and how complicated or complex in the same time. So you can see here, both of the same signal, I mean, same frequency, but they look different in the time domain, you can see. And if you look at the frequency domain, also they look different. Do you know why? Why they look different? So just think about it. Actually, I took this picture from this Rabi Palikar, the wavelet, Rabi Palikar material. From there, I took this this figure. So just think about it. Why the same kind of frequency band create the different kind of signal and as well as the FFT of it, right? And this is the beauty of the signal processing. So then what we do, what we can understand in the same time domain we do, then we go to the time frequency domain. So time frequency domain is a very important kind of techniques, right? And by which we try to find out many information like what happened or which kind of frequency is present at what time. And again, you know, the time frequency problem is a one kind of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. That means you cannot measure time as well as frequency with accuracy. You have to compromise with one, right? And then we talk about the machine learning model or the AI model. So in the AI model, what we do, so here I just giving one example. I don't know how much time we have. So after getting all this data, so I just giving one example that let's say from the brain, we are getting some EEG signal and how we classify the signal. I just giving one example. We can do different way, amplitude based method, the frequency domain analysis, or maybe the machine learning based analysis. So what you can do, after getting all the signal, you will take some signal in the supervised method. What you do, you will train your network and you will test some of the rest of the signal. And finally, what you do, you can create the sensor of classification performance of all the sensor which present in the head. And based on that, you will decide which part of the brain is giving good performance. And based on that, you can write your stories. So these are all different techniques, but one of the thing I would like to tell you here, first of all, you need to understand the biology or the mechanism, and then you have to find it out which are the techniques I'll use. And coming to this AI in healthcare, as I told you that AI, there is no good way to define AI. AI, I mean, that means putting the intelligence in the artificial way. It ranges from 5% to 100%. Depending on that how much automation you need or how much intelligence you need in your machine, accordingly you have to decide. Sometimes, you know, to solve some problem, maybe we need a little bit of intelligence. So there we need not to apply 100% intelligence, right? So it depends on the kind of job you're doing or kind of problem you're solving. So as I told you, as I'm showing you here also, we have from the human body, you can get a very simple signal like GSR to a very complicated signal like the brain signal. And from all of the signal or the images, let's say MRI, if I'll use the MRI, I'll get many images from different parts of my body. That from all these images, how we can understand the pattern, and which is called the data science. So you'll get huge amount of data, and from this data, using some different kind of models, you can find out the pattern, and out of this pattern, you can understand many different kind of problems in the health. Right here, I'm just showing you different imaging techniques. This is called the MEG. You know EEG? EEG. This is the magnetoencephalogram. I'm showing you here. So, okay. So in my lab at ideally, we do many different kind of work at the interface of AI and healthcare. These are some of the highlights here I'm just showing. And maybe I'll tell you in my next. I have one more lecture. There I'll talk something big thing. I'll talk over there. So here I'm not talking. In this demonstration, so here what I'm just showing you here, you can see here. This is one of the AI application of the healthcare. You know the epilepsy which I'm talking about. That how AI can help. As I told you, that from the brain we can, let's say, if I'm depending on the number of sensors, we get the brain signal, and the brain signal is the most difficult signal out of many signals, out of all the physiological signals. So to diagnose epilepsy is a very big challenge. So at ideally we developed one AI model which acquires the signal directly from the brain, and then in the real-time mode, it will diagnose from which part of the brain when the seizure is coming, and it will also tell in the graphical format. And this is a recording I'm just showing you. In this demonstration, we are introducing one of our developed technology, which is termed as AI-based portable device for rapid detection of epilepsy. This is a unique product from Neurocomputing Lab, Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Delhi, headed by Professor Tapan Kumar Khan. The technology is divided into two parts. First is the EEG acquisition part, as we all can see onto our screens. So we have a subject wearing a portable EEG cap and a set of dry electrodes via which we are collecting the EEG at different channel locations in a wireless fashion. The second part of the technology is the AI-based color coding paradigm, as being reflected onto your screens, that codes each segment of EEG into different categories. It is assisted with interactive visualizer, which has the options for generating discrete potential maps, localization plots, and a source imaging movie. I hope you understood some of the idea of this AI, one of the technology. Even the same, I mean, we have some other kind of work from the thousands of brain images. We can find out just using this AI tools that how we can diagnose this epilepsy network better. And these are some of the examples I mentioned to you. And this AI working in a big way in the radio diagnosis, right? So, so the big thing is here is, first of all, as I told you, that to understand the problem better and to create a very big problem. I mean, if the problem is very big, then you can do wonders in this domain. That's why I've written here, defining big goal, right? And of course, I've been working in the healthcare. You'll get enough opportunity, not only help the humanity, but also in the same time, you can advance the domain of AI. That's why I always say, illuminating lives, illuminating science. That means illuminating life means making your life better or somebody's life better. You can contribute many fundamental concept to the science, and the same time that will help you to advance the domain of AI. So that's why I always tell this, healthcare and AI are bidirectional in nature. Thank you very much for your time and attention. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us with your vision and thoughts. Participants, do you have any query? If you have any query, you can just write in your chat box.
No questions? What is the special domain of EEG signal? Okay. See, special actually always, please try to understand the meaning of this word, right? We talk in different ways. Let me give an example. What do you mean by deep? You must have a deep learning, right? Deep learning, just like the name says, deep. Deep means in the two way. One way called the depth. That means it is also in taking the information from the depth, right? Second is how deep it is, nobody knows. Just like the scientists understood how the different layers of the brain, the neural layers of the brain, they work, and they created this deep neural network model. And nobody can tell you how many layers you will take for your application. So that's why it's called the deep. So deep in two sense. So likewise here, spatial domain is a signal. Spatial domain means one is the space, another is, let's say, you know that, okay, when we put the EEG electrodes on the top of our head, right, we get the signal from the surface. But spatially, can I tell that which region, because the brain is a 3D shape. So which is the region from where the signal emerge and how spatially it is being distributed or it's flowing? Because the way you will throw a stone to the river or the pond, you see the ripples, right? How it spread. So in the spatial 3D space, how it is propagating. So this is called the, that's why you call the temporal and spatial. Temporal means time, spatial means the space. And the space is up to you, how you're representing the space, right? I hope you understood. So can only EEG signal helpful for detecting brain stroke? There are many, as I told you, signal means any kind of, I mean, some kind of information we are getting from the body, or when the body is sending something, we call signal. Whether this is the EEG signal, whether this is the heart signal, whether this is the galvanic skin response signal, any kind of signal might give you the some idea about somebody having the stroke. You must have seen somebody when they get the stroke, even they cannot speak well, or you will see that they are showing some kind of abnormal behavior. These are all signal, right? So it's up to you which kind of signal you're taking into your consideration. Let's say if I'm a computer vision scientist, I'll take from maybe facial image and can tell that this person is going to have the attack very soon, right? So these are things. So it's up to you how you are looking at the problem. Which class? Okay, many questions. Okay, just 1 second. Let me see. Stroke. Yeah. So I hope you understood. SD. Okay, then coming to the what type of data collected from the brain, which classifier was used to distinguish brain signal? Yes. See, again, all this data is depending on the problem. That what is your big goal? What kind of questions you are raising where you need the solution? Depending on that, you have to get this data, right? So first of all, you have to decide that what is your main goal or what is your main objective. Okay, and then coming to the classifier. Classifier, see, again, as I told you, the original intelligence in your brain. So you have to see that what is my research question and where, just like, let me give you an example, very small example, then hope you can understand. Let's say wavelet. Wavelet is a very sophisticated mathematical techniques we use to find out the time domain features, time sequence domain features from the signal, right? And you know, there are many different kind of mother wavelet, DB, coaplet, biorthogonal, and you must have seen that many people randomly apply. But do you know that which one is the best? So always you have to think that what it does. Actually, wavelet is nothing but it moves over the signal. It moves under say window. We have taken some window which will move on the top of the signal, and then we try to find out some kind of correlation factor, right? So when it will move, we try to see that which kind of wavelet is matching to the signal of my interest. And then you have to see that which wavelet has the lowest, I mean the smaller filter length. And if the filter length would be bigger, then it will take more time. So many factors we consider, then we have to select. Maybe for my this kind of application, I'll select coaplet. For this kind of application, I'll select maybe the biorthogonal, and all of them work differently on different kind of signal, right? So this is a tool. Likewise, many all this classifier, these are all tool. You have to decide which tool is better for your job. Okay, I hope you understood. Then, as you have said, E signal is non-stationary signal. First, we have to convert it from non-stationary to stationary. So, okay. So, non-stationary, stationary, how we can do it? There are many different techniques are there. The first, the simple technique is the windowing technique. Windowing technique means, let's say, each signal you are having 24 hours. So, if you look at 24-hour signal at the same time, you cannot get the stationarity. But let's say if I'll give a window, this much window, look at through this window, then most probably you can see that for that time instant, the EEG signal is stationary in nature, right? And that's why the FFT is a very, the Fourier transform is a good way of, making it stationary. Even we use wavelet. Wavelet is also the similar kind of technique, right? And that in that way we convert the stationary non-stationary signal to the stationary format, and then you apply the different techniques. Clear about time frequency domain signal. See, time domain signal, again I'm telling you, earlier I was talking about temporal and spatial. There's a different thing. Time frequency domain signal, this is in terms of representation. Time domain signal means when we are getting some signal, let's say I'm just showing you, let me go to my, can you see my screen? I hope you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
So here if I'll present the signal to you, I hope you can see the signal. This is a stationary signal. And if I'll present the signal and I'll ask you, look at by your naked eye and tell me about the signal. What will tell? Now the signal is varies from -3 to 3, maybe microvolt or millivolt. And except that you cannot tell anything, right? This is the time domain representation. So what you can tell just by your naked eye, this is the simple time domain information. Or maybe you can tell this much of frequency, this much of samples or whatever is present. But if I'll ask you here, can you please tell me which are the frequency component present? You cannot tell. Then what we'll do? We go to the frequency domain representation. Frequency domain means FFT. So when I'll apply the FFT, that in the previous signal, these are the frequency component present and all of them are having the equal strength or the power. 10 Hz, 25 Hz, 50 Hz and 100 Hz. These are the frequency component. I hope you understood. And this is the frequency domain. Then we do the time frequency domain representation, where we are talking about that at what time which frequency component present. Right.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I think, yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful and engaging session, sir. We are truly inspired by your session.
Okay, thank you. So now it's done.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We are looking forward to your second talk on Sunday, sir. So probably maybe the other, there are a few other queries we can discuss in your next session, sir. Else they can directly drop an email to you, and you can reply to them, sir. Okay, sir.
I hope, all of you understood, all the participants understood the concept of AI and health. I just gave you two different things separately and also as a combination, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. We've understood the importance of both the things, AI as well as the healthcare part. So I hope even the participants of